Hi, welcome to Body Transformation Institute. I'm Danielle and I would like to introduce you to the TESLAChair today and also the TESLAformer. Basically it's the same thing except that in this case you're going to be focusing on pelvic floor and lower back. So this machine was actually invented originally, or really the energy functional magnetic stimulation was invented for coma patients and because muscles atrophy. So they created a really wonderful way of being able to activate the muscle without the conscious involvement. Now, something with the functional magnetic stimulation that is very fascinating and what makes it like basically the most powerful muscle stimulating device in the world is the fact that FMS activates the neural connection to the muscle. So unlike TENS machines or electrical stimulation that kind of tweak the muscle or twitch it, functional magnetic stimulation activates the neural connection so the muscle will contract to its full complete capability, and it will also create a bigger pathway from the brain to the muscle. So this is why it doesn't matter how weak the muscle is or how bad incontinence issues can be, it will start to basically grow that connection to the muscle, build muscle fiber as well, and this is where the best results we find is with 10 sessions. So I'd like to now describe why 10 sessions is really necessary. What I learned from using this machine for quite a few years now, it was from doing the aesthetic treatment, so for butt or for the tummy. It was always the 8th, 9th, 10th session that you started to see like little six packs come through, or that's where the butt muscles would start to lift. And that is because the initial first 4 to 6 treatments is laying that groundwork. So that's where it's building the bigger pathway from the brain to the muscle and where it's building that muscle fiber. So you're laying that beautiful groundwork down. And then after the 6th session, you're then strengthening all of that muscle fiber. People do see changes with their incontinence sometimes as early as the 2nd treatment, the 3rd treatment. That can happen, but at the same time, it's very normal for sometimes it to take until that 8th session or that 9th session before you actually start to feel the changes and the results coming through. Now, something that's really important is it is not a replacement for exercise. So a really good analogy I like to use is that if you go to the dentist and you get your teeth cleaned, you don't stop cleaning your teeth after that. So same with using this machine to be able to help strengthen your muscle. You want to be able to be doing your pelvic floor exercises as well. So the best way that I recommend to be able to do that is while you're driving. So when you're in the car, because obviously everybody drives. And it also means that you don't have to like set aside 10 minutes every day to do your pelvic floor exercises. You definitely need to put something on the dashboard or something to remind you. It takes 21 days to form a habit. So I did it myself and I had to move my little reminder around the dashboard. But now I'm actually quite good with while I'm driving, I sort of go, oh yeah. And you don't have to do the whole hold for 10, release for 10, but as long as you're just trying to activate that muscle. And you'll find as the sessions go along, you'll go to contract that muscle and you'll suddenly go, oh, all right. And you can start to feel that, connection and that strength in your pelvic floor. Now, the other aspect to how this treatment works, again, it's exercise. So the most important is to do it once a week. So 10 sessions, obviously, once a week. Now, originally, we were told to do 2 half-an-hour sessions a week. That's way too annoying. It's too hard in life to, try and get here that often a week. So what we've done is we've actually combined those 2 sessions to make it a double treatment time for just the one. So effectively, you're getting 2 sessions for the price of one. So the session goes for about 50 minutes, almost an hour. But because of the fact of us doubling the treatment time, this is where you can get away with doing it just once a week. But I definitely don't want you sort of booking in every 3 weeks because the results or the stimulation that you've achieved from that treatment, it may start to fade away if you don't, come back a week later. Doesn't matter if you miss one here or there, but you definitely want to try and keep that consistency of coming in once a week. Now, back to how the functional magnetic stimulation works as well in the machine. You've got this paddle. Basically, in the seat, the paddle is being held by a metal ring. And what happens is that metal ring will start to heat up, especially if it's been used all day like it does here. And you'll find it's where the bone is touching the metal that it will start to get hot. That's all that's happening, is just your bone is sort of heating up with the metal ring. We do suggest that when it does start getting kind of like annoying, you can stand up, even while it's going, the machine, it's not going to cause any issues. Stand up and literally just air it out, kind of give yourself a bit of a break, and then sit back down again. And sometimes that just makes it kind of go away. But if it sort of comes back and it keeps doing it, that's where we always have a towel available. Just have a thin layer, so don't layer up the towel. And also, the closer you are to the paddle, basically the energy is going to contract whatever muscle it's closest to. So this is where if we did it on the arms or the thighs, it's going to contract that. So this is why when it comes to the pelvic floor, you really want to make sure that your legs are as wide as possible, obviously comfortable. That's why we have the foot lift to be able to make your legs just sit a lot more comfortably with your legs out. Now the other is the energy actually goes out kind of like a cone shape. So what happens is whatever is closest to that is what you're going to feel. So you often feel it in your groin and in your butt, but that tells you that it's reaching that pelvic floor area. The other thing that I really do suggest as well is we do have an ability to move it forward and back, so we will adjust it for you. But literally, you want it to work as much as possible. So even like, literally spreading your cheeks, literally getting as close as possible to that paddle means that that energy is going to be going up as strongly as possible. The Tesla is amazing. It is the strongest machine out there for this FMS, Functional Magnetic Stimulation, and it can actually reach as high as 8 centimeters. So for prolapse, that's amazing. But again, you want to kind of be as close to the paddle as possible. Obviously, we want this to work for you as strongly as possible, and so do you. So that's one, you really do want to make sure you're positioned properly. Now the other, we do have one of those paddles in the back panel as well, which will get the lower back. Now the reason it's wonderful to do the lower back, we're working on core strength, of course. Now the pelvic floor is the main focus, especially for incontinence and things like that. But if you contract your pelvic floor muscle, naturally your stomach engages and so does your lower back. And what happens is we all do it. We kind of have that weak, sort of relaxed stance. And this is where the lower back is usually quite weak. But because we don't engage the core strength properly, this is why we end up with very sore lower backs, because they're over-relied upon and they're not strong enough. So when we do the Tesla treatments, we like to include the lower back as well, because when that starts to strengthen, it's going to work with your core and basically start to help, with that core strength. Now, the other thing I'd like to go into as well, when it comes to the pelvic floor muscle, I have learned from lots of clients over the years, again, there's different incontinence. So you can have stress, which is the sneezing, the jumping, coughing, anything that kind of puts pressure can cause a little bit to come out. And then there's urge incontinence as well. So when you need to go to the toilet, it's like, quick, I better get there as fast as I can because a little bit will come out. And then of course there's prolapse as well. Now, what can happen is you can actually have muscle or part of the pelvic floor muscle that is not relaxing. So a big part of the issues with muscle is that they're not working together. So this can be actually like quite tense and rigid, and then this can be relaxed or weak, and then the other way around. So something beautiful with the Tesla treatment is that it's going to be contracting those muscles uniformly all together. And this is where, again, it's going to be helping that core strength, as well as obviously all those muscles are then going to be helping strengthen each other, because the FMS is basically making sure that they're all activating at the same time. And again, remembering that growing the bigger pathway from the brain to the muscle. So it's absolutely beautiful and quite wonderful what it can actually achieve to help with incontinence and obviously pelvic floor strength. And then lastly, the FMS is also going to give you muscle memory. So this is where those 10 sessions are definitely going to be laying that platform for you to have that really beautiful, strong core strength reaction, but the other is maintenance sessions. So this is where some people will feel that results last for 3 or 6 months or even a year, but we leave it up to you in that case, where one lady, for example, it was about 4 months later she could start to feel that little bit of the weakening come in. So she came in for one treatment. You don't need another course of 10, but just that one treatment brought her back to the way she felt at the end of her 10th session. So this is where it's up to you, but because you've got muscle memory now, just one session can be really wonderful to just keep that top up of the results. But again, always remember to be doing your pelvic floor exercises in the car as well to make it last for as long as possible. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you coming in and experiencing our Tesla, and we hope that you can also experience some of the other treatments we have to offer as well.